If you're an Nikon fan, or even if you're just someone who loves high-end camera tech, then you need to hear this, because something big is quietly building behind the scenes, and it could completely reshape the professional camera world in 2026. I'm talking about the Nikon Z9 II. Not the Z9, not the Z8, but the next monster-level flagship that's being whispered about in leaks, discussed in insider circles, and possibly being prepared for the biggest sports and media event in the world. And here's the crazy part. If even half of these rumored upgrades are real, Nikon isn't just updating the Z9. They're about to launch a camera that could be the most powerful hybrid weapon ever made for both photographers and filmmakers. Now let's start with what makes this so serious. The original Nikon Z9 already shocked the industry because it didn't just compete. It embarrassed cameras that were more expensive, and it gave pros a reason to stop looking at Canon and Sony as the only top-tier choices. But Nikon didn't stop there. When Nikon acquired Red, the cinema world instantly started watching Nikon differently. Because now the question isn't just, what sensor will Z9 II use? The question is, will Nikon inject cinema DNA into the next flagship mirrorless camera? And that single possibility alone is why the Z9 II rumors feel 10 times more explosive than a normal camera refresh. The first major leak topic is the sensor, because Nikon knows this is the heart of the beast. Some rumors suggest Nikon may push resolution higher, possibly into the 60-megapixel territory, while still keeping the speed that sports and wildlife pros demand. But what's even more interesting is that there are whispers of a hybrid global shutter approach. If Nikon pulls that off, it instantly changes everything. Global shutter means no rolling shutter warping, no bent golf clubs, no weird propeller distortion, and no jelly-like artifacts during fast motion. That's the kind of upgrade that instantly turns a camera into a must-have for Olympic-level action, motorsports, wildlife, and cinematic handheld video. And Nikon knows it, because if they can deliver global shutter performance without sacrificing dynamic range, it's game over. And speaking of speed, this is where Z9 II could go from great to untouchable. The Z9 already delivers insane burst shooting, but leaks suggest Nikon could take autofocus and tracking to an entirely new AI-powered level. Imagine subject tracking so advanced that it doesn't just recognize humans and animals, but predicts movement even more intelligently, locking focus in chaotic environments like stadium sports or crowded streets. Nikon has been heavily improving its tracking algorithms lately, and insiders believe the Z9 II might bring the biggest AF jump Nikon has ever done. Not a small update, a leap. Like the kind of leap where people start comparing it directly to Sony's best. And for the first time, Nikon might actually lead the autofocus conversation, not follow it. But here's where the hype goes nuclear: video. Because this is where Nikon could pull off something nobody expects. There are serious leak discussions around 8K upgrades, including possibilities like higher frame rates, better heat handling, and internal recording improvements. Some creators are even talking about Nikon possibly using knowledge from Red cinema technology to unlock next-level internal codecs or RAW workflows. And if Nikon gives pros cleaner internal RAW, stronger color science tuning, and cinema focus tools, they won't just be selling a camera. They'll be selling a portable film studio. That's why this isn't just a photography rumor story. This is a Hollywood-level disruption story. Now let's talk about what really makes a flagship camera feel next-gen in real life: workflow. Professionals don't just want quality, they want speed from capture to delivery. And Z9 II could be designed for that new era of instant publishing, where sport photographers are uploading while still on the sidelines, and filmmakers are editing same-day content for brands. Stronger wireless systems, improved connectivity, faster internal processing, maybe even better pre-capture logic and buffer efficiency. These are the silent upgrades that pros will pay for without even blinking. Nikon has already pushed its processing power hard, and with a potential updated X platform, the Z9 II could easily become a camera that feels like it's thinking faster than UAR. And let's be real, Nikon also knows one thing very clearly. They cannot release a Z9 II that feels like a small refresh, because this market is brutal. If Nikon wants to steal more market share from Sony A1 users or Canon R3 and R1 shooters, the Z9 II must arrive like a shockwave, which is why many rumor sources suggest the launch may have been delayed. Not because the product isn't coming, but because Nikon wants to time it perfectly and make sure the upgrades are big enough to justify the II name. Some reports hint it might not land as early as expected, possibly pushing deeper into 2026. But that actually makes the story more intense, because the longer Nikon stays quiet, the more likely it is that they're building something massive. Now think about it from Nikon's strategy side. Nikon doesn't need to launch 10 cameras a year. They just need one flagship so strong that it becomes the camera everyone compares everything else to. And that's exactly what the Z9 did. It became a symbol that Nikon is back, serious, and dangerous. The Z9 II could be the moment Nikon goes from back to dominant, especially if they lean into what Nikon does best: legendary reliability, brutal build quality, pro ergonomics, and that Nikon look that so many photographers swear by. And if you're wondering what the Z9 II might mean for real buyers, not reviewers, here's the truth. The Z9 II could force the entire market to shift pricing, because Nikon has been extremely aggressive with value. If Nikon launches a Z9 II with major upgrades, but keeps the price reasonable compared to Sony and Canon flagships, it's going to create pressure across the industry. Suddenly, pros will ask, why pay more for less? And that mindset spreads fast, especially in the USA market where photographers and filmmakers want maximum performance per dollar.